Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I just be doing a quick recap of the trades I took. Um, Today in the morning there were no important reports in the market, except for the car sales number in China for stocks like XPEV, NEO, and Lucid. Both the SPY had and the Qs had been pushing higher the last few days. The SPY 4 minutes I candle from yesterday's. And today in the pre-market, it was holding previous day close. Now, as for the Qs, they were above previous day close and was holding previous day high in the pre-market. Um, Both the SPY and the Qs look good, but they were extended. They are extended above the 9 EMA. They're like pretty far away from the 9 EMA. So um, I needed to trade with caution in case they decided to pull back. Um, for the SPY. Uh, They might need to retest around 450 or previous breakout level around 449. Maybe it'll do that in the next few days, maybe next week or by Friday. But who knows? I mean, with the market that we have now, it might just keep going higher and higher. You never know. Same for the Qs. If it was to pull back, I think we'll be looking at around 377, and then there's a little gap right here to fill around 376.58, 376.50, and then we have this level right here, which was a previous breakout level, around 375.50. Um, so the tickers that I was watching today um, was AMD, AMC, Neo, CrowdStrike, and my secondary had Tesla and Apple. Now I was watching Neo just because, as I mentioned earlier, China had reported China auto sales had been reported for the EV sector for August. I was watching AMC just because it actually looked good on the daily. As you see here, we had a pretty good move last week. We consolidated, pulled back to the 9, and then yesterday we actually made a move higher, but this level right here, 47.50, seems to be a level, and I think that was previous day high and previous day close, so pretty important. So I was just watching it to see what would happen. Maybe there was some intraday plays that were gonna arise. Um, so to watching AMD, I never really traded AMD, but it does look good on the daily. It looked like it had an AMC little flag pattern right here, and then move higher last week. Um, it seemed like it was pulling back Monday, no, Friday and yesterday, but actually for today it fell. So I didn't take any trades on this. I just had it on my watch list. Um, and I was also watching CrowdStrike. The reason I was watching CrowdStrike was because they had gapped down from the earning reports yesterday after market close, and they had a big gap to the downside. So this ticker moves a lot. So was my plan was just to be really careful if I was gonna take a trade on it, which I did. Um, so my secondary, I always have Tesla in case I can't find a good trade. My primary watch list and Apple. Reason I had Apple in my secondary was just because same as the other stocks had a good daily chart, but it was not my primary ticker to trade today. All right, so here let's take a look at the recording. So my first trade was on Tesla. I mean, sorry, AMC. I was watching AMC right at the open. So the first 2 minute candle we had a push to the high. Like, it kind of seems sketchy just because we had wicks to the bottom, we had wicks to the top, and but as this 47.50, 47.70 level looked like it was a pretty solid during pre-market. So I was watching that level, it got rejected. Um, so after this first 2 minute candle closed, I was just watching if it broke below previous day high and pre-market previous day close uh, to take the trade. So I did add 100 shares short with a stop loss right above pre-market high, and then as it pulled back, and I saw that on the tape that it was holding previous day close. I decided to add another 250 shares. So now I had 350 shares total with a stop loss right above previous day high. So my first profit target was pre-market low. After it broke pre-market low, it did flush um, down to around 46.60. It took partial, just half of my position, right, and brought my stop loss to break even. So after this 2 minute candle close, I was expecting it to take out this low and then move lower. So that's why I put another buy order down here in case it flushed. Um, only 75 shares. I think I should have taken out more shares down here. Um, so as soon as it takes out this low of the previous candle, it does flush down, and I get filled. So on the 5 minute, it actually looks pretty good. You know, big wick rejection goes below previous day high, previous day close. So I get filled right here, and then I bring my stop loss to break even again. And I don't know what happened here. As you'll see, I moved it to get filled here, but then I guess because I was holding it, I didn't get filled. Um, when it pushed back up, you see, I didn't get filled here. I should have got it filled. So as I saw that it wasn't getting filled, I canceled the order and I actually just got out of my position. It's because now it seemed like it was jumpy. So I do end up getting out of this position. Um, just for I actually I ended up getting out flat on my last 100 shares. So that was a good trade overall. Um, had a defined stop loss and took profits accordingly. So my next trade was on CrowdStrike. So I saw that on the 5 minute we had a solid bullish candle to the upside. Um, what grabbed my attention was we were consolidating right at previous day low. So it also seemed like it was creating an ABCD pattern. So as you see here, we're holding right above, but then we break down. But it seems like 278 was the level here. Um, so on the next one, the next candle opens, my plan here was I was trying to see if it held this low and then we push higher above 278. And now my plan was to add 25 shares and then add another 25 shares when it broke to 78.50, so I could have 50 shares. This ticker moves a lot, so I didn't want to add big share size in case it did flush down. Um, so I did go in here below this wick, so right below 277.50. At first I thought I was going to stop out, but it did push and broke above 278.50. I tried to add another 25 shares, but it just moved too quick and I was too slow, so I couldn't add. And then it didn't actually pull back enough to below 278.50 to get filled. I was actually thinking of adding here at the break of the high, but the risk just that it wasn't there. So as you can see, where 281 is previous day close, so I just didn't want to get caught in case this was a fake bounce, and then we retrace back to 278. In that case, we would have flushed down maybe to BWAP or below. So I just didn't want to get caught in that. Um, so I I didn't add. I just took all my profits out. So you can see here, I just got out. Um, so after this, check my P&L. I was up AMC. I was up $116 on my first trade, and CrowdStrike I was up $32. So I usually hide my P&L so I don't pay attention to it. Um, so here, let's move on to my second trade. I mean, sorry, my third trade. So here, I actually tried to, so I tried to get long on AMC. I said created a bullish engulfing pattern on the 5 minute, um, but this didn't work out. I actually was risking $100, so I let that calculate the amount of shares to take with my stop loss right below previous day close. I was able to take 333 shares, and I got filled right above 47.50. I think that this trade, I should have gotten out right when it broke 47.50. Um, it seemed weak. It didn't have strength, so I I wasn't too sure if the trade was gonna work out. So I just got my stop loss, put it a little bit higher in case it did flush. Um, my risk was lower because you always tend to get slippage. So it did. I was thinking if it broke 47.70, then we might flush higher to around 48, and we did break 47.70, but we didn't have continuation to the upside. Um, so as you'll see here, right, we did break over 47.70, but we quickly got rebid back down below 47.70, 47.50. At this point, this trade was over. I should have gotten out, but I did have a hard stop loss, so I wasn't worried, and I was risking $100 at the beginning, so I just stick with my plan. I did put a order to sell up here around close to right below 48 in case it did decide to go, but I ended up getting stopped out of the trade. So it wasn't the bad of a trade. I mean, the setup was there. It was an bullish engulfing pattern. It was just too choppy, uh, and ended up getting stepped out. I lost $99 on this, call it $100 on this trade. So it's okay. That's how much I was willing to risk. Um, so after this, decided to take another trade on CrowdStrike. I was look at this after this big move on the 2 minute. This looked like like a little flag pattern over here. It did hold to 80. Um, then I was looking for a trade above at the break of 281, which is also previously closed. If we did break about 281, then we could have a little, pop to the upside to at least 282. Um, so I did go in right around 280.96 for the break above. Took 100 shares. I'm not sure that if I took 100 shares because I lost $100 in my last trade. So I think I should have actually taken less shares on this trade. Um, but I'm proud of that. I'm proud that the trade actually hesitated. So I did go in, and the trade did go to 281, but it hesitated. I just wanted to see 281.01, 281.02, or 3 or 4, right, on the tape, but that didn't happen. So I ended up actually getting out of the trade because I just didn't want to get caught in a flush to the downside. This stock moves a lot. 100 shares, if it would have flushed at least to 278.50, I would have lost more than $200. So I think I managed my risk well in this trade, and did good at getting stopped out since it didn't go as I thought it would. So if you see in the tape, we got stuck at 281 and we don't move higher. So I did get up and getting out. Probably lost like $26 on this trade. but it wasn't bad. So I did have AMC, my other screen, on the had was looking at the 5 minute chart. That's why I moved to AMC. After it it went down, right? Went back up right above VY, but got rejected here. Um, at this point, I know that people, after, it kind of made a V-shaped recovery, people got in again at the break of 47.50, and people who took it for the break of the day here, I'm pretty sure longs were stuck here, and after this big drop, there was some panic, especially because it moved below previous day high and previous day close, so there were some stops were gonna get triggered. So I did kind of chase this, but I was willing to risk $100 right above pre-market high. I'm sorry, the pre-market low. So I let that calculate the amount of shares that I could take, risking this level right right above 46.80. So that said I could take 714 shares. So that's what I took. So I was on this trade. I was expecting net to take profits right at 46.40, which was the previous day low, um, and then was gonna take half of my profits here and then wait for a flush lower. Um, so I wasn't too scared on this trade, even though I almost I got stopped out, right? Just because I had a defined stop loss, defined risk, so I wasn't panicking that it was going against me. Just had to let the trade work out. If it was if it was truly gonna continue lower, it wasn't gonna go above 46.80, which was pre-market low. So I did make some technical mistakes here. As you'll see, I tried to get out right as it breaks 46.40, but instead of getting 50% out, I accidentally added 50%, which it added about another 300 shares. So that was bad. So just letting the trade work out. All right, so right here we flush. We flush to the downside. Tape starts to speed up. All right, so here we flush down. Come on, flush. So we flush to the downside. Come on, God, this thing's taking so long to flush. All right, so at this point, I'm confident, right? So if this is truly gonna continue lower, it can go past this previous 2 minute candle high. So that's why I bring my stop loss lower, just to minimize my risk in case it did go against me. AMC was kind of choppy, so I was just trying to mitigate my risk over here. Um, so here, we're finally gonna flush. All right, so there we go. We're flushing down. Um, so I was looking at the daily chart. It seemed like 45 here, this level. I was thinking that if we flush below, we could get to this level. That's why I put an order here. But I had to do some stuff, so I wasn't gonna wait for it to hit there. So instead, I did take profits right as it broke below this. Took a hot minute to actually break below it, but it finally did. I'll fast forward on this. So you see, this was my mistake. Instead of I tried to get out, cover 50% of it, so half of my share size, but instead ended up adding, um, and I ended up having 1,000 shares, but the breakdown, so I covered half as soon as it did and brought my stop loss to break even. I still had a pretty good fill, so I wasn't too worried. And did another mistake when I tried to get more shares out right below 46 and ended up adding, as you see here. Ended up adding instead of getting some out. But at this point, this move was too overextended, so I didn't want to get caught in a pullback back to around 46.40. So instead, I just ended up getting everything out 100%. So was all like all my trades for today. I ended up making, how much did I ended up making here? I pull my P&L. Actually, I can actually pull it up over here. So I ended up making almost $500. Um, so it was a good day overall. Took 5 trades. Managed my risk well on those 5 trades. Um, I think that I'm actually trying to, take a smaller loss at the open. And that way I don't get stuck in a hole. And it's hard to dig out of a hole when when you lose a lot at the open. And then all your emotions, you know, kicked in, and then it's a mess. So I'm trying to avoid that and see how well I do. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all tomorrow.